When you know who you are within this information, it makes you feel like a giant. I've said this before in some other classes, I don't know which one. I said the advantages that we have seen historically in the world, one of them is beauty. Another one is knowledge and wisdom. Another one is money. Those things have advantaged people in the world, right? Another one is your connections, right? Those things have advantaged people in the world. If you're beautiful, we've seen people who are beautiful that have access to things, right? You're a beautiful woman, you could be poor, but you could be beautiful, and a wealthy man will want you to be on his arm simply because you're beautiful, right? If you got some money, it gives you an advantage. If you have knowledge and you're wise like Einstein and many other great minds, it makes you attractive and it gives you an advantage in life. If you are connected, it gives you an advantage in life, right? It makes you feel empowered. So I'm saying as a remnant person, man or woman, what gives you your empowerment is that you have all the answers. So now there's a disposition that's supposed to match you having all the answers, right? That's how I walk. I walk with a disposition of bigness about me, not a pride, right? Because pride is you being unsure. Pride and conceit is you being unsure, right? I told you guys this before. There was a lady named Linda, and she was she was a registered nurse, right? And she used to mess with my dad and somebody else that my dad knew. And one time Linda said to me, I was 14 years old, I never forget it. Linda said to me, Andre, you know, you're conceited. And when she said it to me, I embraced it because I was like, yeah, because I felt that being conceited was empowering, right? I was like, yeah, I'm conceited, right? She said, that's a problem. I didn't understand that. And then she gave me an example. She said, you see your dad? Your dad is not conceited. And I'm listening now. Your dad is convinced. Your dad knows that he is handsome and that he is good looking. He don't even put any more energy into it. He could use the rest of the energy for other things. You are conceited, which means you are unsure about how you look, right? That's what conceit is. It is you being unsure, right? And I never looked at it like that, but it changed me from that day. 14 years old, I'll never forget how Linda told and explained that to me. She said, you're unsure. I thought I was empowered. She says you are unsure. Hence the conceit. You're trying to convince yourself of something. Your daddy is seasoned and he don't even put no energy into it. You see what I'm saying? So I'm saying the information is supposed to give you that surety, right? And that surety is empowerment and it's attractive. Remember I told you there's a lot of guys, some guys out there that are not very attractive but have beautiful women. What is women being attracted to? They're attracted to the stability of the man, the surety, a certain confidence in him, because he is so sure about his abilities, who he is as a man. And then he knows he has some information that she don't know, right? And a lot of dudes might not have been the most attractive guys and had beautiful women in the game. I know a bunch of them. Right? Because there was something else about them that attracted women. Looks are not the only thing that attract a woman. Oh, I'm talking. Looks are not the only thing that attracts a woman. It attracts a young girl, right? When you're in your teenage years and you young girl, he fine. It wop. But when you start maturing into womanhood, right? And you start becoming a woman, there starts becoming different requirements for your life. Right? You're not living with your parents anymore, so you're not concerned about your well-being because you're living with your parents, right? But see, you have the energy just to focus on somebody who's cute. But when you start growing into womanhood, the realization that, yeah, you're not going to be with your parents, right? Then the mature, that consciousness of understanding, right? That shift from adolescence into adulthood becomes something different. And something begins to grow in you that begins to require something more than just a good looking man. Because now you're not taken care of by your mama. You're out there having a job. You begin to understand the responsibilities of paying your bills and having a roof over your head and eating, and all these other things in life come into play, and it forces you to be in a different place, because that's what maturity does. Woo, that's good stuff. Maturity begins to force you into a different perspective, because you realize that you were only an adolescent up until you were 18 years old in this country. But the majority of your life, you will live it as an adult. In your adolescence, you only could do that to 18. And the majority of your life, you will live as an adult. And then you begin to think about other things. You don't have the luxury of being taken care of by your mama, your daddy, or whatever. Do you understand? So now what becomes attractive is the stability of a man, a poise and a calmness of a man, right? His ability to cover you. That becomes important. So I'm saying with the information, that's the energy that you give off. It's not about money. It's about the assurance of you knowing who you are and what makes you valuable. And you giving that energy off, right? The confidence in knowing. Yes, wife. You give that energy off. And when that female feels that, right? And like I said, in her adolescence, it was not something that mattered. But now she's been opened up to that mattering now, because that's what maturity does, right? Because she was sheltered from a lot of things. But now in her adulthood, other things are open. Other things are to be concerned.